Namaskaram. We are going to discuss the topic gamakam today. Now, gamakam is a nonce word for Indian classical music. It is indispensable for Carnatic music. We are going to start by looking at it from a different point of view. I'm going to try and bring in an analogy to the word. Now, just like how a word, say the gamaka or gamakam, is made of letters, we understand that a musical phrase is made of notes. Now, if I were to write gamakam, Gamakam are the letters, or in a musical phrase, these would be the notes. Now, if I wrote it like this, in cursive, then all of these curves and connectors between the notes or the letters is gamakam. Gamakam is derived from the note gama, which means to move. In a musical sense, this describes the dance between the notes, the flow of the music between the notes, and the stress laid upon it. It is a musical embellishment which brings out the different flavors, moods, and expressions in music. Rasikas enjoy gamakams through the musical compositions that they listen to. A student learns different gamakams through the compositions that he or she learns, and later this is reflected in his creative output. Now, if I were to correlate this to the principle of least action, consider that a person needs to go from point A to point B, or this is your house and you need to go to your friend's house. Now, there are many paths that you could take. One is the direct path, or you could go to your neighbor's house, a point C, and then go to B, or you could go all the way up till Venus and then go to point B. A similar analogy can be made in music too. A lot has been said and written about gamakams. Different commentators like Sarangadeva, Narada, Haripala, Subbarama Dikshitar have mentioned gamakams in their books. Why? Subbarama Dikshitar in his Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini has even small symbols to represent different gamakams. Now, largely 10 gamakams or Dashavida gamakam has come to stay. Now, imagine that in a musical phrase, these swarams or notes are dancing with each other, perhaps doing a Mexican wave, jumping up and down, or just gliding by, or just pirouetting about. This dance is conveyed through gamakams. The Dashavida gamakas have different symbols to represent them. Let's have a look at a notation meticulously made by Vidushi Vidyashankar of the song Janani Ninuvina to understand these symbols. Now, if you look at this notation, these are the notes, and on top of this, she has written the gamakam marks to tell you the flow between these notes. One does not always learn from notation alone. The oral tradition of learning from a guru helps a student come to a closer approximation of the idea. An interesting question to be asked here is, why doesn't a same song sound similar when different artists sing it? Well, then the answer is, each artist brings his or her musical personality to that particular song, and although it may sound fairly similar, there may be minute changes in the nuances they bring. It's almost as if you could draw an analogy to storytelling. Different people telling the same story. Also, it is on an instrument that you can clearly visualize the gamakam. So when I sing a gamakam, you cannot see my voice do that gamakam. But if you were to see an instrument, then you would be able to see and visualize what's happening between those notes. Now, to this show and tell, let us add some singing. The different gamakams are Kampita, Sfurita, Pratyahata, Khandippu, Nokku, Yetrajaru and Yarakkajaru, Odukkal, Orikkai, Vali. Kampita gamakam is a swinging type of oscillation. I'm just going to give you a small example of that gamakam. I'm singing a phrase from the ragam Shankarabharanam. Tadana Gama Pa Ma is Kampita gamakam. Now the next type, Sfurita, means to tremble. This is mostly manifest in janta or double swarams, where double swarams happen. The next one, Pratyahata, is a type of Sfurita gamakam. An example would be from the Kalyani Varnam, Manajakshiro. Just listen to this phrase. Vanajakshiro Ivirahmorvane Vanajakshiro Sasa Sani Dari Sani Ni Dada Pama Ni Ni Dada. There you have Pratyahata gamakam. Khandippu is a type of Nokku gamakam with a certain pause. It manifests itself in Avarohana phrases. So let's now see what Nokku is. Nokku tugs from another swaram. So we have the phrase in Mayamalagala, for example. Sari ga ma Sari ga ma ga ma ga ma. That would be a nokku. And then there is a very interesting gamakam called the jaru. Yetra jaru. Jaru itself is a slide. Yetra jaru is when it happens on ascent. Irakku jaru is when it happens on descent. An example would be from the Kriti in Ananda Bhairavi, Tyagaraja Yoga Vaibhavam. Nagaraja Nagaraja That glide is called Jaru. Next we have Odukkal, Orikkai and Vali. Odukkal is a type of Kampita gamakam. An example may be from the Viriboni Varnam. Gagari sari sani nidani sari Gagari sa conveys Odukkal. Orikkai is a type of Janta Sambandha Prayoga. And last one, Vali, is very special to certain ragams like Ahiri, Asaveri, Punnagavarali, where you get like a hovering effect. It is essential to understand that the final motive or intent of a gamakam is to convey a mood, feeling or expression. Apart from these gamakams, there is also a gamakam special to instrumental music. It's called Gamaka Tribhinna, which may be heard when you listen to a tanam on the Veenai or the Chitra Veenai. There is also Hampita, Mudrita and Namita, which are gamakams which convey voice modulation techniques. So happy listening.